Hello, welcome back to the channel. It's Wendy, and today we're going to hopefully finish off the page that we started last time in Dragon Dreams by RJ Hampson. So we'd pretty much got to the point where we'd done the dragon and I'd done the background on here. We'd done gelatos and I'd used this little selection of pencils last time to do the main dragon to get to this point. So all I've done since you last saw it is I've literally used my white luminance just to knock back the black outlines. Because these are flowers, obviously I don't really want a black outline on a flower. We'll probably still see a little bit of it because it doesn't get rid of it. It just tones it down a little bit. If I kind of show you a little bit of the next page, you kind of see the visual difference of it. And sometimes, depending on what colour pencils you're using, it kind of sometimes lifts back up again anyway. But it kind of gives us a bit of a softer start. Yeah, it works for me. It's how I usually do it. So I normally do it with white luminance. You could use Don't Drawing. That would do the same, Chinese white. And obviously the leads in these are much thicker, which is the reason why I tend to use the luminance, really, because it's line work. You can get this pretty sharp, but it seems a bit of a waste. I did used to do it with my, oh, not that one. Where have I done with it? Somewhere stashed away in my, excuse my arm. I'll have a white Holbein. White Holbein does it just the same, but the same reason I don't use the Prisma White really to do this kind of thing, because these got quite a high wax content. They can resist some colour pencils when you work back over with them. So sometimes it does happen with the luminance as well, but it happens less with the luminance, so I risk that one rather than the others that I've showed. But any good opaque white pencil will do this similar thing for you. Okay, so I've fished out the same colours because obviously we've got the little dragons to do a little bit of work on today. So I'll just zoom you in a little bit closer. Excuse my crumbly chair. I know I kind of need a new one, but it's so comfy. I just kind of put up with the creaking, but I'm aware it's a bit annoying to listen to. Sorry. So yeah, I'm going to do like we did before, really. I'll do a little bit if it's just the same, but like in this case, obviously we've got 3 and a bit little ones sticking out the nest there. I'll probably do one dragon with you and then I'll colour the other 3 off cam just to speed up the video, really, so you're not watching me do exactly the same thing 4 times over, because that's a little bit boring. Or I'd probably find it boring. I know some people don't, but for me, maybe. Okay, so I'm just using the dark one, and I think it's 583 when I came to get this one out. I think I said it was 2 on the first one, but it's not. It's 583, which you can just see. I really wish luminance would change the way that they mark these pencils, because as you can see, I've not used this one hugely. There's still a lot of pencil left, but the prints come off so much on it already, and I know these pretty well, so I kind of don't really look what the names are on them anymore, and I suppose that's what they're probably working on. That, you know, to a lot of people it's not the end of the world if you can't read it, but it is a little bit if you're trying to see it, isn't it, when if you're not as familiar with them. But yeah, it's 583 this one, not 2 like I said last time. I only realised when I came to put it back in my case, and I've got it labelled up in my case. So yeah, just putting a bit of this the darkest of the reds that I have out to work on the dragons with. Hopefully my hand's not in the way. I'm not in the way too much, am I now? But yeah, just putting a little bit of the darkest areas in, just to give a little bit of shape, hopefully, to the wings. I'll probably do the edging in the dark as well, or at least on his wings. And then into the Now these little dragons are probably going to be quite quick because they're only little tiny things compared to what we did last time on this page. A bit on his head and then a little bit in his body. And then his tail is pretty small anyway. I think I'm going to go in with the apricot. I think this one is. Not going to show up on the camera just to be helpful. There you go, apricot. I might come back in with the luminous orange that I've got, but because he's so little, I think this could get a little bit too dark if I put too much more dark tone on there. It would get a bit lost. Yeah, I don't think we need the mid orange for this little bloke. Don't know why I'm saying these dragons are male. Like I have any clue. I think I just want, excuse me, sharpening, although this one's, this white has very nearly had it. Might need a new one at some point during this image. Just going to put a little bit of highlight up his body and then just use the white to kind of pull the colours together a little bit where they haven't already. Might help if I actually put my glasses on so I could see properly myself, wouldn't it? That would be helpful. I've not had glasses very long. I find them quite hard to get used to needing to use them. Kind of object to needing to use them. My eyes should just work. That's what they're for. Fortunately, I've reached an age where my eyes disagree. If you want to see the tiny detail, you need to put them on. Okay. And then I'm back in with just the darker colour again, putting it pretty much where I had it before. Just aiming to refine and tidy up the shapes a little bit more. I'm not too bothered if I extend these little wings a little bit, make them a bit more dramatic looking. And then the same on the other side, just finish his little wings off. Make them a bit more spiky, threatening looking. Why not? Okay, might extend his little tail flame thing there. Okay, so I think that's my little dragon number 1 done. I'm just going to do the same for, oh, that's if I get you in the right place. I'm just going to do the same for dragons 2, 3 and half of the 4, and I'm thinking that's his little tail that's sticking out on the end as well. So I'll shade in those 3 exactly the same, and then we will come back to you. Okay, so we're back. I've done the other little 3 little dragons, although that I just spotted that's not very smooth. I want to fix it. Yeah, so I've got the other little dragons in, and I'm just thinking the top line of these is still kind of very grey, so I'm thinking I might use a little bit of my Posca to just get rid of the top line and then maybe go over the spines a bit so that the spines are in the colour of the dragons rather than I'll shake that away because that's going to be an annoying noise, isn't it? Sorry. So that it's in the colour of the dragon rather than in the black, but I'm not sure which of these two would be better at the moment. So I've got light orange and I've got apricot, and these are PC1Ms that I have. I do have some of these ones. What are they called? MRs, PC1 MRs, and I've got to be honest, I'm slowly replacing these with the slightly bigger ones, so they have the slightly different nibs, and I'm constantly having problems with these, the thinner ones, the smaller ones, just constantly blocking. The yellow in particular, I had a yellow in this that I use the yellow quite a bit, and yeah, I've had to get the better one. So yeah, got two of the 1Ms, light orange and apricot, and I was just going to have a quick look and see which of these two I think is probably better. Oh, this one's a bit dry, having just said that, everything. Just clean the nib off a little bit. Oh, now I've got a big blob. Needs a shake. Sorry, I'll put it under the table so it's not too annoying. I'm actually thinking the other one will probably be better anyway, but we'll see. Now that's better. Don't know, that's pretty close to it, isn't it? I'm going to try it a little bit to move that out of the way. Try it on this little bloke's head and we'll see. Maybe it is a bit too light. Maybe I don't like it. Let's try the darker one. Yeah, I think this is the better one. So I'm not going to get rid of all the lines on my little dragons. I don't know if I need to go in a little bit more. I don't know if I can actually. Just ones where where I've used that apricot holbein. So along the tops really, where it's quite light on the dragons anyway. The black line is very obvious. Underneath, I'm not worried because it's quite dark under there anyway. But just along this top line, I'm going to add a little bit of this. Just to kind of finish the top of them off a little bit more. Again, don't have to. I know lots of people are quite happy to leave the line work in and it's no big deal. I just prefer sometimes taking little bits of it out when it's a bit that I wanted a little bit lighter. So I can add a few more little highlights in his wings like that as well. Again, this one I'm probably not going to take a huge amount because he's pretty dark around most of the edge of his body anyway. Maybe just do a little highlight of his back and on some of the wings. Excuse my neighbour sawing if you can hear it. He's got a new, I think it's a bandsaw. I think he got a new bandsaw yesterday, so it's his new toy, I think. But yeah, I think I'm doomed to listen to sawing now for weeks to come because he's got a new bandsaw thing. Right. Apologies if I just go quiet. I must admit I'm not used to talking whilst working on things like this really. It doesn't come natural. I think it's a bit of a learning curve. Let's have a look. I might do a little bit on his tail. His little tail that's pointing out. Yeah, I think I'm going to call them two done for that little bit. Okay, so let me move that before I stick my hand in the wet Posca paint on my pad. So obviously we've got now quite a bit to do in terms of flowers and all of that business. So we did say I was going to use the, just going to put them somewhere I don't lose them. We're going to use some, excuse my thumb in the way, some Black Widows. So I've got my newest Black Widows set out, dragons, appropriately, seems appropriate anyway. So I thought I'd do the flowers with this. Slide them up, but I do also have the rest of the Black Widow set as well in a case, so these are all mixed together now, but all the other sets of Black Widows I have in here, so I may, depending where we go, reach for some of those, but my intention of this is to use the dragon set really, just because that's what I used on the page before that I showed. So obviously we've got quite a lot of flowers, and I'm going to break them down into different types of flowers really. So you've got these kind of daisies that have got quite big centres in them, and I think I'm probably going to do those ones first. So again, I'll do one of those type with you, and then I'll fill all the ones that are exactly the same in, because there's no point you watching me do something exactly the same 7 times. And then we'll come back to these ones that have slightly smaller centres in, so we'll probably do those different colours. Then there's a few odd flowers in here. There's these kind of ones with 4 petals on. They almost feel a bit 4-leaf clovery, don't they? And then these kind of more tulip looking pieces as well. So there's a few different types of flowers that run across the whole of the book, but we'll take them flower by flower and you can see what I do with them. So let's have a pick. Now I'll be totally honest, I haven't really used these a huge amount apart from that other page in my in this book, so it's a bit of a learning curve. Shut my window to hear less of my soaring neighbour, sorry. So we've got gold dust, I might try. Let's have, what else have we got? Light rust, and I'm going to get the yellow out of here, which is mellow yellow, but I'd also like a bit more of a stronger yellow. Let me have a look what I've got. So out of the other set, I've got, what is this one? This one's actually a Black Widow. Banana. Like a bit of banana. And yeah, we'll go in and do one of these flowers. My camera wants to focus again. No, it does not want to focus again. Oh. Just let me move these trays out of the way. Why is that not focusing? There we go. Okay, so we can see what we're doing. So I'm going to go with the lightest one first, which I think is the mellow. I am going to sharpen them because I've not used this yellow, I don't think, before. So I'm literally just going to do it slightly darker near the centre, I think. I'm probably going to layer these up quite a bit. And go for the slightly more golden looking one. What is that one? Banana. And we'll try the lighter one, but I think I might need the darker. Yeah, I think I do need the darker. But yeah, it'll be a bit of a learning curve with these for me because I've not used them a huge amount really. So just getting it pretty strong in there, and then we'll go back with the light one, mellow yellow. I love the names on these. They are much better than the boring luminance names. Far more entertaining. Oop. Knock the wire. I'll knock that wire in a minute and rip the entire camera off. It won't be a good moment. So yeah, I think I'm going to go with something along those lines for each of these little petals. I'm going to layer in quite a lot of this mellow yellow on all of them. And then a bit of the golden, because that really warms that up quite nicely. And colour tone. That mellow's quite a lemony tone to it, so it's not far off a green really. And then in with the dark one. Need to make a decision about what I'm going to do with the centres on these. I was thinking I might pick something a bit darker actually. Back in with the mellow yellow. Just to narrow down the little highlights that I've developed on each little petal. Now for the centres, what do I want? Let's have a look. What have we got on here? I think pink might be a bit much, right? So I'm thinking whatever these are. So I've picked out two colours that are kind of a red and a dark red. Shiraz and Dragon Breath. Might just have a look what they actually like, because I don't know these very well. Let's see what they're like together. Oh yeah, they're okay, they're okay. So I'm going to do the darker one, the Shiraz. On the inside, I think, a little bit. With a really soft edge, and then I'm going to layer, what's this one called? Dragon's Breath. Over the top, just lightly. And then I think I might see if the white will just blend them a little bit together. Yeah, it will. And take a little bit of it into the edges of the petals. Just to pull them all together. Okay, so the edges, I, as you can imagine, don't want to be white. So I could do these back in with my Posca. So I've got ivory, or I've got sunshine yellow, which does not want to focus, but that is what it is, sunshine yellow. Again, I'm just going to have a look how dark they both are, because I don't want something. Might do it with the ivory and just see. Might be a disaster. Ooh, that is quite bright. That is quite bright. Is it too bright? Might well be. Just take a little bit of it off again, because that is a bit much. See, things don't always go well. I'm not totally loving this one, but we've started, so we'll need to carry on. Oh yeah, I prefer this one. Let me put the ivory down. Okay, I just need something for the middles now. That might be too dark, but we'll have a look. What else have I got in that colour range? I'm not going to be super happy with either of these colours, but I've got, coral pink. I'm going to focus. There we go. I've got coral pink and I've got red wine, both of which need shaking. Sorry, do it under the table. Do it under the table and it's not too bad, hopefully. The sensible part of me says, no, leave it alone. It's fine as it is. Don't put any more paint on. The red wine is definitely too dark. That's going back in. But I might just touch in a little bit of this. Now, the beauty of doing this with the Posca is as long as it doesn't start to crack, you can actually go back in a little bit with the colour pencil. So my intention with this is where I've put the paint on in there, I'll probably soften it up a little bit with the Black Widow pencils when it's dry, but if I work on it now it's just going to look a mess, so I'm not going to do it this second. But next time you come back to it, hopefully I will have probably gone in with, I would imagine, with the golden on some of the paint where it's clearly a little bit too bright, and certainly on the centres I'm going to go back in with the reds that I have. Was it Shiraz? Yeah, with the Shiraz on the red, just because at the moment it's a little bit too obvious. But I'm going to do now all these flowers that have this bigger centres. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that's it. I'm going to do those 6 in this colour palette that I've just showed you. Use the paint the same, use the Black Widows the same, and then we'll make some decisions about these that have the smaller flowers and slightly different layout, and we'll be back. See you in a minute. Okay, so I'm back and I've done 7 now. So I've got the original one that I just did, and then I've done these ones up here, and I've just done this one on the side. Once the paint is dry, once these 2 bits of paint is dry, I've literally just gone over the yellow back with light rust a little bit, just so where the yellow line went right to the centre. Obviously I don't want it super light there, I only really wanted it light on the very edges. So just really gently, and you do have to be gentle, otherwise you will crack the Posca back off again. I've just gone and knocked down the edges a little bit, and then exactly the same in the centres round here. I've just gone back in with the Shiraz just to knock the pink, because that was quite pink that I used in the middle, just to knock them back a little bit. And so that's where we are at the minute. So the next ones, I've got these ones that have the little tiny centres in, so I'm going to do those ones next. And there's just 5 of those. I think there's just 5 of those, but there are also these little ones every so often. Like there's another one there. And I might do these ones that have got 4 petals the same as these ones as well, but we'll see as we get going. So I've had to let the dog in because she was moaning outside my door, please let me in, and now she's just found something under the desk to munch, so sorry if you can hear her munching something. She thinks it's her tea time. She's likely to moan at me in a minute, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, so I'm going to do these ones. I'm thinking I'm going to go with red, and just looking in my Black Widow's tray of the dragons, there's not really a good red in here, so I'm going to go back in to my old ones. So this is a ladybug out of Black Widows. I think from memory this was one that I had to rebuy because my original ladybug, I think, kept snapping. But it is a very nice red, really strong, true red. So I'm going to do the strong red in the middles, I think. I'm making this up as I go along. As you can probably tell, not really thought a huge amount about where I'm going with these flowers, but I think I fancy these in red, so we'll definitely go with that. I've opened the window again because it's getting quite stuffy in here. I'm crossing my fingers that my sawing neighbour doesn't choose to saw something else on his brand new saw thing. But we'll see. I might have to shut the window again. So we've got that filled in. Now, what am I going to use as a lighter tone? What's this one? I think I got this one out before, but I didn't use it. Sundown. Let's have a look how it... Oh, it's quite dark still. Yeah, maybe that's not what I wanted. Serpent. Let's try that. Oh yeah, that's a bit more what I want. Might help if you could see a bit better, wouldn't it, really? I can try and keep my hand out of the way. I kind of feel like I want something a bit darker again. I might go back in with the Shiraz that I've been using in the middles here, just in the middle of this one. Oh, my dog now decides she wants to go out. Hold on. Ugh, dogs. Let me in, let me out, let me in, let me out. I'm just a slave to the dog. Yeah, she spent the last half hour moaning and huffing outside my door because I'd shut the door. I want to come in, so I've let her in. And because I've not got any food out for her, now she wants out again. So I've just let her out again, but she'll be back up there in 10 minutes wanting to come back in again. Okay, so I think I'm pretty much done as much coloured pencil. But again, I want to lighten the edges of these petals. I'm going to keep those 3 pencils together, and then I don't forget what I've used. But what I'm going to lighten that with, because I don't want anything too light this time. I'm wondering about the darker colour that we tried last time. Might try that. So this one might be a disaster. Might have to rub it off again in a minute. Who knows? But light orange. We shall see. The beauty is you can always get it back off again. Oh no, that's not too bad. If it ends up with it being too light, that's never a bad thing because you can always work over it. And it's just a bit more attractive than a grey line around the edge of a flower. Like I say, when this has dried, and you do need to let it dry properly, otherwise you will just rub it off straight away with the pencil, because the pencil is so much harder than the paint. When it's dry, I will probably just go in, probably with the red, I would imagine, I've put the paint inside. Perhaps if it actually focuses on the, let me get my finger out of the way and let it focus. I've put the paint down here on the edge of the petal there, but really I don't want it that light there, so I will darken these edges back off with the coloured pencil, but the advantage is you will no longer have the black line there as well. So there's a few of these to do, so I've got another 4 of these to do, and like I say, I might do some of these little ones that are similar shapes as well, and that'll leave us with these kind of star shaped things, and these that are more full petals, and these that are more kind of tulipy. I'm pointing and it's off the camera, I do apologise. These that are more tulipy to do. But yeah, we're getting there. So back in a minute when I've just done all these similar flowers. Okay, so I'm back again. So I've done quite a few of the little red, oh hello, don't know what my phone's doing, but there you go. Quite a few of the red flowers, same way as I just showed. Used the coral pink over the edge, and I've just worked back over with the ladybug, just back over on the Posca on most of them. I think there are a couple here and there to do, but overall that's where I'm up to. So I've got these star shaped looking flowers, and we've got these more full flowers and these ones. So I thought I would do these ones next, because I think they probably are going to be a different colour again. I'm thinking we'll kind of go with the pink hues that are in here, as there is such a nice selection of pinks to work with. So I might try those two to begin with on these ones to start off, and we'll just see how they go. Oh, there's pencils all over my desk, it's driving me nuts. That's not quite as dark as I thought it would be, but we shall go with it. Is there a darker one? Oh, there is a darker one if I need a darker one, but this one's actually quite hard compared to some of the others I've just been using. See how light this is. Not very light, we definitely need something darker. So I might try, what's this one? Ruby Rose, although it's wearing off already. I've not even had it that long. I think this is the one I used on the previous dragon page in the flowers that were on there. Yeah, that is what I wanted. Something a bit darker, and then I need something just to blend them all together quite nicely. Don't think I actually have a sharpened that one. It's got the flat snappage. Oh, sorry. Shouldn't have touched it. Now it's snapped. Now it's stuck in my sharpener. Annoying. Yeah, I'm definitely wishing I just touched this now. There we go. Please stay. There's nothing worse when you just keep getting one that keeps snapping. I think that is the thing I've realised. I've not used my Black Widows for a while, and when they work, they're lovely. I don't know if it's just the Amazon men near me don't take much care of them on delivery or what, but I seem to get a lot of breakage with my Black Widows. Is it just me? Is everybody else I'm in the same? Some of mine are older, but obviously this set that I'm mainly using for these are new ones, so I was hoping these would be a little bit less snappy. But like I say, they didn't come with very much packaging, so it's not surprise of the century that they're breaking a little bit. Do I want to... Obviously it's got quite a lot of black at the end of the petal. I can hear you all almost just leave it alone. You know I'm not going to leave it alone. I've got a disorder. Black line disorder. Just can't leave it. I'm going to try this, but I have a feeling this is the new one. Yeah, it is, so sorry, bear with. I'll get it working. Okay, I just paused it while I was shaking because it's not particularly entertaining to listen to, is it? Me shaking a Posca, not much fun. So I'm not going to go mad with this one. I just want a little bit at the top. I'm not going to take it down the petals or anything like that, but yeah, that's how I think I'm going to do those little flowers. So there's not loads of those on this to do. There's only this one that's right next to it. There's a little one at the top. Oops, my broken leads all over the place. There's none at the bottom, is there? No. So there's only these little 3. So I'll literally do the other 2 and I'll be back. Okay, I've done the other 2, like a flash, they were done. And yeah, we just got to make a decision about the little tendrily things that are coming out of it. So I think I'm going to do, just have a look, is go in, which one is this? Rosie from the Dragon set. I think I'm just going to do the little stalks like that on all of them. I'm going to put a little bit of the darker colour in the heads as well. I think the stamens, aren't they? Is that the word I needed? I think it probably was. Then I'm just going to dot in a little bit with the Posca, just to basically give them a little bit of highlight and just take the top of the black line off. I'll keep some of it because it's almost like the slightly in silhouette. This one's going to be a tricky angle. Sorry, I might end up having to turn the book. We'll see. Can I manage from here? Yeah, might be able to. There we go. So I have put the light on, as you might have noticed when you came back. Just because even though it's still daylight, it's still a little bit dull in here. So yeah, so that's where we're up to so far. So what have we got left? We've got these little flowers and these stars. I'm thinking these ones I'm going to do back in the yellows and the oranges that I've used before, because we've not got a huge amount of the yellow ones. There's a few over here, but these 2 sit very close to the yellow ones anyway, so I'm thinking I'm kind of going to do this selection that we had out before. So Dragon's Breath, Serpent, Mellow Yellow and Black Widow's Banana. I think it was the banana that I used most of because the mellow was very light, wasn't it? So I'm going to start with the banana, I think, in this little flower. Quite a lot of that on, I think. Then we'll go to mellow yellow. No, we won't, because that's also snapped. Oh, snappage. Snapped again. That might. Feels like it's okay. And then, do I want the darker one? What was that one? I might try this one, Light Rust, I think. because the ones I've got are in my hands either feel a little bit too light or a little bit too dark. Yeah, this is the one I wanted, I think. Light rust. And then mellow yellow, just in the highlight. And then I'm going to go back to light rust for these little, I do want something darker. I might try this one that's a little bit darker for the central ones, because otherwise we won't see those, will we? Just finish those off with the yellow. Alright, I need to make a decision about the centres. What have I got? I think I'm going to go with one of the pinky tones that I've just used in these little ones, just so they kind of coordinate a little bit. So this is back with Rosy. And I'm just going to do like I did with this one, have it a little bit darker on the edge, and then use something lighter just to soften it in, and then the white. Well, this definitely needs a little bit of, sorry for the shakes, Posca. Shake it, then I remember filming, and it's quite annoying when it's on the film, isn't it? Sorry. I hadn't realised when I picked this page just how many little tiny flowers there are on it. Now obviously those inner petals, I've got quite a lot of black around them, but they are so fine, my Posca will obliterate them, so I'm not going to attempt to paint over those because that's just going to be overload. Okay, I've got another one of these to do, so I'm literally going to do that one, and then we'll get these final star ones done, and then we've just got this kind of wreath bit and a little, oh, can I fit it on? The little nest at the bottom is all we've got left then. So I'll just do this other one and we'll be back. Okay, I'm back. So I've just done those two the same, and now we've got these little star flowers to do. There's just these 3 left, I think, unless I'm missing any somewhere. I'll only do 3, put the colours away, and then realise I've just put the colours away I needed, and I've missed a really obvious one right in front of me. Okay, so I think I quite like these kind of pinky purpley tones that I've done up there, and kind of balance the picture out. I'm going to do these 3 the same kind of tones, so I've just got the same ones back out again. So they're Rosy, Ruby Rose and Nail Polish. I think it was Ruby Rose we were using, so I'm going to do those as the kind of little star in the middle, and we'll try this one, but it might be a bit too light. Oh no, this is okay, that's not too bad. So fill that one up, and then add a little bit more of a darker colour in. So they're quite quick, these little ones. And one left. just lighten the edges on them a little bit if it will. Okay, not too bad. Again, not going to go mad with this colour because I don't think it needs a huge amount knocking out. Okay, so I think, unless I'm missing some somewhere, I think I've done all the flowers. I think that's where we're up to now, that we've got pretty much most of the flowers in. My camera will focus a bit better, I mean, that's a bit crisper. So that's where we're kind of up to at the moment with the whole image going through. So I've got obviously quite a bit of the greenery to do, and we've got the little nest to do now. I got in the way of browns for this nest, so I want a light, a dark. Is that brown or red? I think that's red. Kind of want a slightly more light brown colour. So let me have a look in the other set. Let's have a look, yeah, something like that. So I've got a kind of dark mid and light tone in brown. So I've got leather from the skin set. I think there's 2 skin sets, isn't there, from memory? I'm not sure which one that one is. Saddle and castle, both from dragons, to do this little nest at the bottom. So I'm gonna have to move these trays because in order to push the book up I need a bit of room, and we'll bring you down again. Okay, so let's move my light over a minute because it's getting a bit dull again. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the lighter one of these, the leather. I was going to say it was the saddle, it's not. First, just in kind of strokes, because obviously this would be twigs and things, I'm guessing. Might put a bit of green in this actually as well. We'll see how we go with the browns first. Don't want to lose these little flowers, so I'm going to really darken it quite significantly behind the flowers in particular. And darken it at the bottom as well. Let it be in a bit more shadow. Doing something darker again, I think, as that brown is not as dark as I thought it was. Let me have a look. Got in the old sets. This one looks dark. Huntsman might be what I need. again, I'm not too worried about going off the edge of the lines that Russell's drawn because they're just a guide. Again, kind of losing this flower a bit, so just darkening it near the flower so it stands out a little bit more. And maybe just a bit of green in there as well. It's that one. Olive green out of the scorpion set, this one. It's literally just crumbled everywhere. Okay, still not that dark, is it? And I'm now just going to use the huntsman that I just got out that's nice and dark underneath to kind of add to the edge of the bottom of the piece. Okay, what else is in the little nest? Got the eggs to do, leaves to do. I'm going to need some more greens for the leaves. Let's have a look. Okay, so I've got forest out. I've got green grass. I think I fancy a light one as well. So apple. Got a lot of pencils hanging around there. I'm going to start with the dark one that I've picked out, which is forest. Just have a go at the leaves a little bit. So not going to do anything too fancy with the leaves, I don't think. Just try. And then in with apple as the last colour I'll leave. Alright. Feels like I could do a little bit of yellow in that. Yellow, I think we had banana out, didn't we? Just going to warm the green up a little bit with the banana. So obviously there's quite a lot of leaves on here. I think what I'll just do is I'll do this little like sprig thing on camera as well. And then I'll show you how I'll do a bit of this kind of stem that's running through as well, and then I can pretty much do all the leaves and the stems, and then I think we've just got the little eggs to do down here. We've got these little fiery clouds. I think I'm going to do it like fire, and I think that's pretty much it then for what's on here. So I'm going to do them very similar to that leaf that I've just done, so that they all kind of coordinate. So a little bit of the darkest, the forest that I've got. I'd like to put a bit of the mid grass green in, but this grass green does not want to sharpen. Oh, there we are. It might have done. A little bit of grass green in, back to the apple. Back in with the white. I might be pushing my luck getting this white to sharpen. It is so little now. And then a little touch of the yellow again, just to warm the green colour up a little bit. So I'm pretty much going to do that for all of the leaves that are on here. It's no great difficult task really. Just going to use the dark to outline a little bit up the centre, a little bit of the mid, in the light towards the end. Use the white to blend them and bring back a little bit of highlight, and then, like I say, the yellow just to then soften the highlight a little bit. And that's how I'm going to do the leaves on all of this page. So I've got another one of these big ones to do. Then I've got quite a few. These ones, although they haven't got the inner stem, I'll probably just draw it in as I work on them. So I'm going to treat all of these exactly the same as these little leaves that I've just done down here that go all the way around. And obviously there's a few of the stems on there. So next time I come back, there'll literally just be the stems to do. In fact, shall I show you a stem? We'll do a stem now so I can work the stem. So I'm going to still use this handful of greens that I've been using on the leaves, but I'm probably going to need the browns as well. So as you kind of come out of a leaf, so let's imagine I've just done this leaf here like that, like I have just been doing. I'm probably going to bring the green into the stem a little bit, but then as I start to work on the stem, I'll probably go in a little bit more with the kind of mid and light. So what was the light one? Leather, out of the skin set that we had, and pop that in the middle. Was it dark green, that one? So the stem is kind of a mix of greens and browns, so that all these leaves coming in, it doesn't look like a big jump between the change between them all. And then possibly I may just add a little highlight up the centre as we go, but I'll probably do the stem all the way around like that, just using the two light browns that I had out anyway for the little nest at the bottom, and then the handful of greens that I've just been using for the leaves anyway, and that'll be all of that circular bit and the little leaves at the bottom. So we're very nearly finished. Okay, and we're back, and now I have filled in all the little, hello, is it going to focus? No, it's not going to bother. Filled in all the little leaves anyway, like I've managed to catch something there that we'll try and rub out later, but for now we've got all the leaves and the tendrils and the bits and pieces joined together now, so that just leaves me with this little bit at the bottom. I've got the little dragon's breath and these little bits of eggshell. So I've fished out already a couple of colours for the eggshell. I don't think I've ever coloured an eggshell, but we'll see how it goes. So from the monarch, as you can see, there's milk and it's candy that I've pulled out. So the quite pale tones, and I've also got a dirt drawing the white, Chinese white out as well, because I think I may be wanting to, certainly with the smoke in a minute, we may be wanting that. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this kind of, which one is this, candy, on the egg, little pieces of the eggs. Not going to do a huge amount with these eggs really. I think they need to stay pretty simple looking, don't they? A little bit trickier there because I've got some of the gelatos on this bit of the egg, and obviously this is quite a light colour. Just need to get that a little bit whiter, I think, before I put this back on. That's better. Try a bit lighter one as well, just to soften it out. Okay, and then I think I want, excuse the Posca again, a little bit. This one is not going to focus, ivory, because obviously I don't really want a great big thick line around my egg. So I'm just going to take the edge of it off, on those two at least. Might be a bit more tricky on this bit. Sometimes easier said than done. Okay, then that leaves me with the little bit of puff of smoke coming out of him as he's banged his head. So I'm just going to lighten it pretty much like I just did with the shell first, because it's a bit tinged with the green. So I just want it a bit brighter. It's a bit crumbly. Then I want that nice red that we had out earlier. Is it Ladybug? Is it that one? Yeah. So I've got Ladybug out. No idea how this is going to work or not. I just want to create kind of smoky but fire filled look. I think I want one of the oranges we had. Which one's this? Serpent from Dragons. Just going to use a bit of that, I think. And then I think I definitely want a bit of gel pen. If it's going to work today, we shall see. It needs something a bit darker in it. What shall I use? Maybe a little bit of that at the bottom. Okay. And I think we're very nearly there. So I think the only other little bits that I've not done are, I've not done the little centres in the flowers. So I thought we'd do in there is a little bit of metallics. So my dual hybrid, just the gold, again, just let me scribble it on something, make sure it's behaving. And I'm just going to do a little bit of that in these little spots, just for a bit of sparkle on that page. laying my hand now over ones I've already done. Not the wisest of moves. A lot of these are so small, it's a bit difficult to put a centre in, literally just a touch. Difficult to tell which ones I've done and which ones I've not. And I think there's a last finishing touch. I'm just gonna, no I'm not, because my pen isn't gonna work. Let's just pop a few little highlights in some of the centres. I'm going to turn it because otherwise I'm definitely going to put my hand in some wet pen because I'm that stupid. Concentrating so much on what I'm doing, forget where I'm putting my hand. Give a little dragon some highlights in their eyes. His eyes shut, but we're still giving him a highlight. And yeah, I think I'm going to call that done. Let's try and get you a better colour version of it. Light out the way. And yeah, so I think I'm probably going to call that pretty much finished for my second page in the lovely Dragon Dreams book by R.J. Hampson. Quite enjoyed doing it. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching me do some of it. The light's not brilliant now. Definitely the day has kind of ended in terms of daylight. Let me turn that up, see if that helps a little bit, maybe a little bit. But yeah, so hopefully that's interested you a little bit if you followed along. Let me know if there's something you would like me to have a go at in terms of Colouralong. I know someone a while ago did say to me, let me move this before I smudge your gel pen on it, did say to me that they wouldn't mind me showing, can I find the page? Oh, here we go. I did this page quite a while ago, like maybe 6 months, something like that, but somebody did ask about maybe a Colouralong on something like this, and when I was looking in my books I did notice that in Daydreams there is another bunny, isn't there? So yeah, so here, excuse me, knocking everything flying, oh, pencils everywhere at the moment. So there's this page in Daydreams that obviously I could do in a very similar way to the page that I did in Magical Dawn. So I'm thinking that might be my next Colouralong. Interested to know in your thoughts of whether that be something that's of interest. The other thing that I've been doing that now I can't get hold of, knocking things off my trolley, is obviously I've not really been showing my colouring journal. As you can see, it is starting to get quite chunky. So I've been doing bits in my colouring journal. So again, anybody interested in me showing what I've done in the journal, interested to know on some opinions. But thank you for watching today's. I hope it was enjoyable. Let me know your thoughts. Bye bye.